Every pharmacist has a moment they never quite forget. For one I know, it was a kind, ordinary man named George. George was 70, with bad knees and a good heart, and every few weeks he'd shuffle up to the counter to refill his blood pressure medication and his heart pills. And nearly every time, he'd set one more thing on the counter beside them. A big bottle of over-the-counter painkillers. For the knees, he'd say, with a smile. They just ache. And every single time the pharmacist felt a quiet knot tighten in her stomach. Because she could see his whole list. She knew what those harmless-looking little pills were doing to the rest of it. She wanted to reach across the counter, take his hand, and say, "George, please, stop taking these." But he was in a hurry, and there was a line behind him, and he'd been doing it for years and felt perfectly fine. Until the morning George didn't feel fine. Until the day his ankles were swollen, his head was pounding, and a blood test showed his kidneys were in serious trouble. And not one of his prescriptions had changed. The thing that quietly did the damage wasn't a prescription at all. It was the bottle he bought himself, off an open shelf, the one he never once thought to mention. The one he was certain didn't count. If you keep a bottle of painkillers in a kitchen drawer, and you reach for them whenever something aches, please stay with me. Because this is the one thing your pharmacist most wishes you would stop, and almost no one understands why. I'm going to show you exactly what these everyday painkillers do to 3 things in your body after 65. Why the danger stays completely invisible until suddenly it isn't. And the safer path your pharmacist would point you to in a heartbeat, if you only asked. But first, the truth George never knew. Say it with me. It was never just a painkiller. Quick and important. I'm not your doctor, and this is for learning, not medical advice. Don't stop, start, or change anything you take, including any painkiller a doctor has specifically told you to take, because of a video. The safe way to handle all of this comes at the end. Stay with me for it. So which painkillers are we even talking about? There's a whole family of them, and they're some of the best-selling products in any pharmacy. You know them by their shelf names. Ibuprofen, Advil, Motrin, naproxen, Aleve. Doctors group them under one label. They call them NSAID. They are genuinely wonderful at knocking out aches and swelling, which is exactly why they're everywhere. In every drawer, every purse, every glove box. And taken once in a while by a younger person, they're generally fine. But after 65, when you're likely taking other medications and your body is more delicate than it once was, this harmless little pill starts playing with fire. Let me show you the 3 places it does its damage. First, your blood pressure. This is the one that caught George. Here's the cruel little trick. If you take medication for high blood pressure, these painkillers work directly against it. They make your body hold on to extra salt and water, they tighten your blood vessels, and they blunt the very medication you take to bring your pressure down. So you swallow your blood pressure pill faithfully every morning, and then, without ever knowing it, you cancel it out every afternoon with a painkiller for your knees. Your pressure creeps quietly upward, with no symptoms at all, while you believe you're fully protected. It was never just a painkiller. Now, before we go any further, do something for me. Go to that kitchen drawer, or that purse, or that bathroom cabinet, and find your painkiller bottle. Hold it. Read the small print on the back. Look for the words ibuprofen or naproxen. And keep it right there in your hand, because the next 2 dangers are the ones that actually put George in the hospital, and you'll want to be looking at that label while I explain them. Second, your stomach. These painkillers are hard on the delicate lining of your stomach. Over time, they can wear it down and cause ulcers and bleeding, very often with no warning pain at all. And here's where it turns serious. If you also take a blood thinner or a daily aspirin or a steroid, the risk multiplies. Now you have one medicine making you prone to bleeding, and another quietly opening the very wound for it to bleed from. For an older adult, a stomach bleed isn't a stomachache. It's an emergency. It was never just a painkiller. And third, the one that frightened George's pharmacist the most. Your kidneys. Your kidneys are delicate, hard-working filters, and they depend on a steady flow of blood to survive. These painkillers quietly reduce that flow. A young, healthy kidney can usually shrug it off. An older kidney often cannot. And here is the combination that pharmacists truly dread, the one they have a grim nickname for. If you take a water pill and a common blood pressure medication, and then you add one of these painkillers on top, those three together can ambush your kidneys all at once and cause real, sometimes lasting, damage. Three things, each one meant to help you, suddenly turning on the organ that keeps you alive. That is exactly what put George in that hospital bed. It was never just a painkiller. Now, I can already hear the worry. So what am I supposed to do? Just suffer? Never treat my aches again? No, absolutely not. Your pain is real, and you deserve relief from it. The point was never to leave you hurting. The point is that there is almost always a safer way, and your pharmacist is the one holding the map. So here is what to actually do. First, know this. For many older adults, a different kind of painkiller, the kind based on acetaminophen, often sold as Tylenol, is far gentler on your blood pressure, your stomach, and your kidneys. It's frequently the better first choice after 65. It isn't perfect, it has its own rule about not taking too much, and being careful if your liver is fragile or you drink alcohol. So this is a conversation to have, not a switch to make blindly. But it is usually the first door your pharmacist will point you toward. Second, remember that not all relief comes in a pill, at all. A cream or a gel, rubbed right onto an aching knee or shoulder, can ease the pain while barely entering your bloodstream. Heat, gentle movement, stretching, physical therapy, these are real medicine for stubborn joints, and they don't fight your other prescriptions. Third, and most important of all, never treat the painkiller aisle as if it doesn't count. Those over-the-counter bottles belong on your list, right beside your prescriptions. Bring them to your pharmacist and ask this. I take this for pain. Is it safe with my blood pressure and my other medications, and is there something better for me? That single question is the one George's pharmacist was aching, for years, to be asked. Your one small step tonight. Find every painkiller in your home and read the active ingredient on the back. If it says ibuprofen or naproxen, and you take blood pressure pills, a blood thinner, or a water pill, then that bottle is your pharmacist's conversation this week. Don't throw it out. Don't panic, just ask. And George? He's just fine. His kidneys recovered. His pharmacist finally got her moment, walked him through all of it, switched him to a safer option for his knees, and added a cream for the worst days. He still gets his relief. He simply stopped fighting his own heart to get it. So remember, those everyday painkillers, ibuprofen and naproxen, can raise your blood pressure, threaten your stomach, and ambush your kidneys, especially stacked on top of the medications you already take. They were never just painkillers. If no one ever explained this to you before, type the word painkiller in the comments, because you are not alone in this. Not by a long shot. And if you love someone who reaches for that bottle every time something aches, send them this video. One simple question at a pharmacy counter could protect their kidneys for the rest of their life. That is how we look after each other. Because there is one more thing I have to warn you about, and this one isn't in your medicine cabinet at all. It's in your kitchen. A single ordinary food, something you might eat for breakfast tomorrow morning, that does the exact opposite of these painkillers. Instead of weakening your medication, it makes certain heart and blood pressure pills far too strong, flooding your body with more of the drug than your doctor ever intended. Most people eat it without a single second thought, and on the wrong medication, it can be genuinely dangerous. That's the next video. Subscribe so it reaches you in time, and I'll see you there.